selects a person, a scholar, to find us out. That who knows about us, who knows about God, who knows about our relationship to God. Because the scholar whom king sent, he knows that this is his child. He got the relationship with the king. He knows that. So having known, he started searching. That is the guru who comes to us all the way down from his place. And he searches for us. Because he knows about the soul. He knows about God. He knows about the relationship we have. And after finding us, then he says, "Oh, my friend, you are the son of God. And that's your place. That's your duty. There you have to go. This is not your original place. That's your original place. That's your property. That's your enjoyment. And that's your kingdom. Come on, you have to choose that." Guru teaches us about the truths of ourselves and of the nature and of God. And to create a belief, he brings an insignia from God himself. And a guru, when comes, he initiates us with insignia from God. This is this thing that I give you, take it. And whenever just you show that at the, at the entrance at the immigration office, then just they put you salute and just they take you with all the Raja Lanchanas, call them. What you call it, Raja Lanchana? Royal, yes, with royal honors. They take you with all royal honors. This is the insignia. Yes, you keep it with you, and yes, the king recognizes you, and everybody recognizes you. Come on, take it. That's how Guru also gives an insignia of God, by taking which, as the boy goes, we can also go to God's kingdom, which is our own property. We are heirs of that property. But we are in search of properties, unfortunately. We want just a small house. We want a small backyard. And we small a fence should be constructed there. We want a small air-conditioned hall. And we want a small kitchen. My friend, the whole world is your property. Why unnecessarily you are searching for a small thing? The entire universe is yours, and you are the higher of God. When you are blessed with that property, unfortunately, why you are making so much limit? Come on, this is yours. You can enjoy this. This is the path that he shows. We call Archiradi. Kapila preached that to his mother, Devahuti. Krishna preached that in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And our Acharyas have revealed that Archi, Dina, Purvapaksha, Shadudang Masa, Abdha, Vata, Amsumat, Glauhu, Vidyut, Varuna, Dhat, Indra, Dhatrumahitaha, Simanta Sindhva Plutaha. That is the Sima, that is the limit of this universe. What we call this universe is Leela Vibhuti, and above that is Nitya Vibhuti, we call that. There is a river by name Viraja. Viraja separates this Leela Vibhuti, which is under the possession of karma, and Nitya Vibhuti, where karma cannot enter. Rajas, Tamas, along with Sattva Guna, having control on us in this Leela Vibhuti only. But when you just cross that river, Viraja, then there won't be Rajoguna and Tamoguna, just Sattva Guna. Did you read the sloka in 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita? In 2nd chapter, he suggests Arjuna to become Nistraigunya. Nistraigunya bhava Arjuna, he said. Just get yourself freed from 3 gunas, which are called Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And again, in the very next pada, he says, Nirdvandvaha, Nitya Sattvasthaha, niryoga kshema atmavan. There he says, nirdvandvaha nitya sattvastaha. Keep always in sattva only. But then Krishna, you said that nistraigunya, just come out of the three gunas, and again you say sattva guna. What is this? Why you are confusing me like this, Krishna? Asked Arjuna. No. Arjuna didn't leave Krishna like that. Whatever he said that, oh, I just nod my head. No. He was very, very particular and curious, because he's committed one. So he asked, you said just to give away three qualities, and again you say that have sattva guna. Yes, my Arjuna, there you are. I said, so when you are in this nature under the Viraja river, though you have sattva guna, but it is polluted with rajas and tamas. When the sattva guna is polluted with these two qualities, you can't enjoy the reality of sattva, and you can never realize your own nature and nature of God also. But sattva guna is basically good, but when it's polluted, then you can't just perceive things as they are. So you should come out of those things. But when you cross the river, there just sattva guna, not having any pollution with rajas and tamas, that you need to have. And that's why I said, give away the polluted sattva and enjoy the unpolluted sattva. Nistraigunya bhava, but nitya sattvasto bhava. That's what he said. There the sattva guna will be ruling always. You have to reach that place. Now that is the way they have shown us. If you travel to that path, you can reach that abode. Where, as they people, when you just cross the river, and because you are having the insignia with you, they people recognize you. Not only just recognizing, they offer all the royal honors to you, and just they take you to God directly. This is what the Upanishad said. They come, about 500 people, not just people they are, 500 apsarasas, it is said. Pancha Satan Yapsarasa Anudhavanti, the Upanishad said. 500 apsarasas, each 100 having something in their hands to decorate the soul. Thus they decorate, no, when a boy is having just, the disturbed hair and just lean body with dust and clothes which are just, so dirty. And if this guy goes to king, and the king gets so upset by seeing his son like that. So before they take him to him, they should wash him. They should give good clothes. And before they take him to him, they should give good food. And he should look good. Then only king can tolerate. Otherwise he can't tolerate, When Rama killed Ravana, Sita was there in Lanka since 10 months and odd. Then Rama wanted to see Sita. Then how? He said, Vibhishana, go and bring Sita. But Rama said, I can't bear to see her with the same dress as she was, since 9 months, since 10 months. She was with the same saree, not taking even bath, not eating any food, not drinking a drop of water, not sipping just a single drop of water. Is it possible? We don't know that. Just she was chanting Ram Nam always, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, nothing else. She never accepted any food. She didn't take anything. But every day she used to go to the small pond which is nearby to perform Sandhya Vandan, to offer praise to sun. That was what she was doing. And then Rama said, I can't bear to see her like that. So Vibhishana first offer her a shower, nice shower, and just decorate her with wonderful clothes, and then bring her. When Vibhishana went to Sita and said, Oh mom, Ramachandra wanted you to bring like this. Then she said, hey Vibhishana, asnata drashtumichhami. I'm not interested to take all these things, my Vibhishana. I want to see Rama like this only. I want to see him like this, that's all. Then he said, see, Rama instructed this way. Can't you obey? What she says there. If Rama said so, then she said, it is right. When Rama instructed this way, okay, then I take. But it's really funny, or just surprising, or painful rather. When she was coming in a palanquin, it's Rama who instructed to bring her in a palanquin. But when Sita was, approaching him, then all the Vanaras, all the monkeys, they were very, very curious to see. Then there was so many police people escorting her, said, come on, give way, with the, with the sticks in their hand. They started controlling. Then Rama said, don't control, let everybody see Sita. Then Sita came out of the palanquin. It's human tendency again. The human tendency is this. She is really now beautiful because she is decorated. He is just killed Ravana and his body is still having so much dirt. And he also didn't take anything and she also didn't take anything. But she had the shower and put on good clothes and just ornaments. That's what he himself instructed her to do. And whenever he happened to see her, he said, hey Sita, okay, you are really nice today. And anyway, I didn't want you. I'm not having any lust on you. And I didn't kill Ravana just for your sake. Ravana has taken away my wife, and people shouldn't think that I am, an incapable person or a coward. What do you call? Coward? Yes. People shouldn't think me like that. To prove my ability, I killed Ravana now. And it's up to you. Wherever just you want, you can be. You can go. That's what he said. And it's unbearable to see that. And again, he confessed his mistake. He said, Sita, you are like the lamp. My eyes are polluted, it seems. There is what you call jaundice. To a person who is suffering from jaundice, for him light appears as if it is yellow. काच दोष होता है उसको, काच दोष बोलते हैं. जिसको काच दोष होता है उनको दीप भी हरा रंग में दिखता है. ये तो दीप का दोष नहीं है, देखने वाला का दोष होता है. No, it's not the mistake of the lamp to appear in yellow color. It is the disease with the person who is looking at the lamp. Then he said, as a person from jaundice, and as a lamp looks in yellow color, you are appearing to me like that, he said. That is, he confessed that his eyes are not in good condition, or his manas is not in good condition rather. Then Sita couldn't, tolerate that, and she immediately instructed Lakshmana, come on, arrange fire. When Rama never wanted me, why should I live? Arrange fire. Now that is surprising. Sita instructed Lakshmana to create that, and Lakshmana made it, and just she created Yogagni, and then she fell in that. Some people think it is Ravana who asked her to test herself. But Ravana didn't ask. Just Ravana said, now it's up to you. Wherever you want, just you can go. Said, but she couldn't tolerate that, But anyway, that's the story. Let's not go into that detail. Anyway, that's not our topic now. Our topic is Rama, if at all he would have seen Sita like that, as she was under the tree, definitely his heart would have broken to pieces. And probably that would be the end of Rama. Because he couldn't bear that, he asked Vibhishana to decorate her and bring. If we lost our child, and again when the child brought to us by somebody, finding him somewhere else, if he is, in very, very bad condition with a dirty body, dirty clothes and so on, then we feel very bad, Our heart will break into pieces. So, before we reach God, there is viraja, there this soul takes a shower, and immediately after crossing that river, there will be people who will decorate the soul, and they lead the soul to God, where God says, he is not like Rama anyway. Rama is an incarnation of human being, is a representative of human beings, that's all. Though it is Vishnu's incarnation only, Rama Avatara, but so long as he is in the incarnation, we never call him God. No. When he is as Rama, he is not God, he is a man. So man has so many, inhibitions. Rama also have those things. Yes. But we are worshipping Rama because, being a man, how he controlled all of them, and how he worshipped by the world, that you have to learn. You worship Rama not because he is God. No. Because if he is God, he can do anything. If a man could do such things, then yes, you can really learn something and you can be like that. Rama, as a man, did so many things, and he controlled, so many emotions and inhibitions, so that just he can share the sorrows and joys, the world around. That's why we are even today worshipping Rama. So anyway, let's keep that story aside. But God, in his divine abode, when the soul comes, then he receives him with outstretched hands, and then he keeps him in his laps, and just he hugs him, he kisses him and says, "My son, who are you?" And he, "Aham Brahmasmi," the soul says. "My Lord, yes, I am your son, because you are within me and just you brought me here." "My son, really? Oh God, what you did so far? Where and where yes you visited? What are the places you visited? What are things you did?" He talks, so many things, and then he gives the soul to Lakshmi. Then she takes him. Then she feels so joy, and again she gives the baby to Lord. Then he takes, then he gives. It's really wonderful. This is what we are. That is our eternal place. When we will be there, again, as the Lord controlling entire universe, you can also control entire universe. As he does, you can also do all the things. No less. No discount at all. Everything, whatever he does. Yes. Paryeti, Jakshan, Kridan, Ramamana, the Upanishad said. Whatever he wants, just he can do that. This is what we are, my friends. But we forgot our own nature. The Ashtaguna Avirbhava, that's what we have to regain. For us to regain, we should know about that. To know about that, we need someone who is sent by God, who makes us realize our own nature, as the king chose that Pandit. A guru comes to us, to this world, and teaches us. That guru is Ved Vyasa. And he gave that, he brought a great lineage to us, down to us. his son, and Sutacharya, and then so many great people came revealing the secret of the Upanishad and our own nature. That is what we are discussing as Bhagavata. Sri Suta revealed all these things to Saunaka, etc. sages in the forest, in the Naimisaranya, Naimishe, Animisha Kshetre, that Devata Bhumi, that Naimisha Kshetram is called Devata Bhumi. They wanted to enjoy that and then they went there. Lord, sent his chakram, which he called Sudarshanam, to that place, and that will be always rotating around that forest, Naimisaranya, which is near Kanpur in India, eastern India. Yeah. There the place is called Naimisaranya, and Kali cannot enter that place. So, wherever this Bhagavata Katha is chanted, then the Sutta said, there no Kali enters. So long we chant the Bhagavata, thus long Kali never comes to us. It is like a bulb, it's like a lamp. In a dark room, if you light up the lamp, there won't be darkness. What happens to the darkness? Do you think the darkness goes out? Rolling like a wheel? No. Darkness never goes out. Did anyone see that darkness going out? Somebody said, come on, you go into the room and just light up the lamp. I'll be standing here holding a big stick. Let the darkness come out. I'll break it to pieces. And then he was waiting and he asked in the phone, what happened? Did you light up or not? He said, half an hour ago I did it. But where is the darkness? And he said, even in the room also there is no darkness. Then he opened and tested. Yes, there is no darkness. Then he said, because anyway the darkness is gone, I'll close all the doors and let me also in the room. And just, unnecessarily, why waste the current? Just you turn off the light and let us see how if the darkness enters the room again, I'll punch it to pulp. Come on. Then again he turned off the light. What happens? We know that. Again darkness covered the whole room. Where did the darkness go? It never gone anywhere. But my friends, when there is light, darkness is suppressed. You can't see that. But if you turn off the light, then again the darkness comes up. Darkness is there, always. You have to keep the light constantly on. Bhagavatam is God's light. When you keep it always in your heart, no darkness of ignorance enters the heart. Thinking that you became so pure, and then if you forget about God, and if you forget about His name, and again you will be caught hold of that ignorance again and again. Punah punaha vasamapadyate me. Yamadharmaraja teaches the same thing to Nachiketas, a 4-year-old boy. Whoever forgets about this, my little child, he will be always a guest to me. He will be always visiting my kingdom. For him, no visa is needed. He enjoys multiple visa. Punah punaha vasamapadyate me, he said. And that means he comes, he enjoys here for some years, and again he goes back to his own place, and again he takes somebody, and again he never goes to any other path. Direct access to Yamadharmaraja only. We don't want to visit Yamadharmaraja's place anyway. We want to visit always God's abode. And this is only the way to choose that path. And here, when we look into that, yes, there are so many great devotees. When we enjoy their company, when we discuss about them, we understand the greatness of God. And then, God enters our heart. That is the greatness of Bhagavata, what you call a Sahavasa, Satsang, we call that. That Satsang makes us closer to God. And here we are meeting with so many great Bhagavatas, great devotees in Srimad Bhagavat. That's what we want. Not just, we can talk about Krishna, but when we talk about Krishna, our heart may not accept all the activities done by Krishna. As we are talking about Rama, why at all Rama should treat Sita like that? We say that. And it appears Rama is so merciless, so inhuman. Why at all he should say that? After so many months, when he happened to see Sita, he wouldn't have told that. Why he should say, I removed all the enemies and it's up to you, wherever you want, just you can go. Why should he say? It appears like that. When we just see on the surface, it appears so indifferent. Right? Even when you read Krishna's story also, it's the same. He was playing with so many girls and he was just visiting so many houses every morning without their knowledge, and he used to eat so much butter, so much yogurt, so much cheese, and so on and so forth. Why should he do all these things? Immediately we pose this question. Because when we look at it, the whole thing looks something odd. We can't understand that unless we know how we came. Bhagavatam teaches us, before reaching Krishna incarnation, how much story is there behind us. We are in the Kali Yuga. Krishna Avatara is in Dwapara Yuga. Do you know the number of this Kali Yuga in this Manvantara? We are in 28th Chatur Yuga, and in the 28th Chatur Yuga, this is Kali Yuga. Krishna Avatara was in the just preceding Dwapara Yuga only. That's in the 28th, right? In the 28th Dwapara Yuga only Krishna Avatara was. But when you talk about Rama Avatara, it was not just the preceding Treta Yuga. This is 28th Chatur Yuga, I said. But in the 11th Chatur Yuga, when Treta Yuga has come, Rama Avatara was there. Do you know that? In the 11th Chatur Yuga's Treta Yuga, Rama Avatara. In the 28th Dwapara Yuga, Krishna Avatara. And we are in the 28th Kali Yuga only. How much gap is there between? A lot of gap, Even we can't imagine that. Similarly, just if we go on discussing other avatars, the age. Since then he was trying to help us in so many ways. But how he helped? Unless you know that, you can't appreciate the Krishna Avatara or Rama Avatara at all. So directly now we people, when we talk about Bhagavata, just we go into the Krishna Avatara and we start talking about his wonderful Leelas. Right from his Leela in jail up to Rasa Leela until the Yuddha Leela at the end. But again, you have to understand about the other things of this world. How God created the whole thing. How he started helping. How he made the systems. At the beginning, the whole thing was not like this. Day system, night, the planetary system moving in a particular way. These things are not there. Everything was just like that. When we change our residence from one place to other, Do you know on the first day when we enter the new house, how it will be? I think probably you will be experiencing that. We were staying in one house and just we were forced to move to some other house, and just we made so many bundles and packages, and just we did Gruha Pravesha to the new house, just dumped everything there, and we ran to the office. And again next the evening we came and we want to eat some food. We are much tired, so we can't to set all the things in their own places. So for that time just we got something, and we finished our dinner also in the office itself, or just while coming somewhere in the McDonald's or somewhere, just we took care of it, and again came back home and just we tired and just we slept. Next morning again we have to run to the office. So just we opened one box and set few things right, and again just we run to the office. We eat, because everywhere you go to the office, food is available. You go to market, food is available. And just you go to picnic center, food is available. You go to a museum, food is available. You go to some other center, everywhere food is available, you know. So you need not just struggle for food. Just you can get it anywhere you want. So next day you set a few things more. Third day a few things more. You will be setting things like that up to 1 month or 2 months. Again, if you go to a small room, a corner of the room, again there will be something dumped in that. Not finding a place in the house. Though the house is really big one, still there will be something, you know, just like garbage, you know, not finding a place in a corner of the house. To maintain a small house, you know, we are facing that much trouble. To set this big universe, you know, how much he has to do. Here, of course, in America, you know, when we construct houses, because we seal the whole house, so we never allow any insects or any mosquitoes or flies to enter the house. That's how we made the houses here, right? But in spite of that, you know, when just we opened the window, again some fly just want us to enjoy the air conditioning facility in the house. And again it bothers you the whole night. Not only, and if you have a small baby with you, again that baby will be suffering with that mosquito, from that mosquito. And again you have to find it out, and again just you have to take care of it. Either you have to just throw it out, or otherwise you have to do something to save the baby. Right? If it is a hospital-like thing, and if a few mosquitoes just entered, a couple of mosquitoes, a mosquito couple, entered the house and started putting eggs underneath the bed somewhere, and again they start growing more and more in number without our knowledge, and when the whole room is occupied with such things, how problem it is. And again, you know, the doctors and other people, you know, feel very sorry for it, and again they take you know, a lot of things, a lot of care to save the babies, to save the patients in that hospital, right? You know, since 2 days just we are observing, you know, there are people once they opened the windows and put like that, and again entered some mosquitoes in that room. they are bugging others. In this big universe, imagine that everything is set free. No closed enclosures to any place. Just God kept everything free. And He wanted people to survive on this. And again there come some mosquitoes. And again some bugs. And some flies. Some other insects. Some cockroaches. So many things, you know. They start bugging. Then, you know, he feels very bad and just he wants to control them. And then he comes down again, taking something in his hand, spraying something again. That is his duty, you know. He wants to protect always. He wants to save us. He wants to see that we never get infected with those things. So for that he takes a lot of care. But after all, he is only one, you know. He is just one. Having so much compassion. Even he can't do anything to those also, because they are also things created by him only. So he wants to keep them in their own place, and he wants to keep us also in our own places. That's how he tries first. After so many trials, after so many attempts, if he couldn't control them, then he shoots them. That's it. You could imagine the magnanimity of this protection as a universal phenomena. Then I think you could just imagine it's a small part of it at least. That's how he does. And that's how he sets the whole world. And that is how the Bhagavatam describes the whole thing. There we are discussing about the hierarchies of kings. And yesterday we were discussing about so many qualities. When we purchase a house, not just we are going into the house and just we are putting ourselves in that. We need beds. We need carpets. We need glasses. We need paper towels. We need so many other things. We need soaps, we need sprays, and we need the cleaning material, and again we need some instruments to clean, and we need curtains, and we need papers. How many things we need? You know that anyway. For a small house. Then just imagine the universe. And then just try to understand. Whenever you go to a shopping mall, like what you call it, Walmart, or something like that, how many things you find in that? For a person who created that or just who started that like that, how much he would have imagined. Oh, this is the thing that people read, this is also the thing people need. You can get from a small pin to computer, everything, whatever you want, this you will get in that. You can't say, oh, this is not available in that, including automobiles, the oils. It looks so small, but everything is in that. When that small thing is like that, with so many people's effort, just one God is taking responsibility of this entire universe, then how much he would have how much he would have planned this, and how much he is putting his effort on this. How he is just taking care of these things by placing people in that particular place. So many qualities, so many mentalities, so many inhibitions, and just like dawn and dusk, day and night, so on and so forth, so many buddhis. These are the things first he made, and just he set them in their own mood. And after that he started taking incarnations. That's what just we are trying to discuss about, my friends, which is here in Bhagavat. So don't think that why Swamiji is not discussing about Krishna and his incarnation and his activities. It is just a small part of the entire Bhagavat, of course, which is the important thing in the Bhagavat. Here, first the Sukacharya promises Parikshit, oh Parikshit, what do you want to understand? What do you want to know? Then he said, we want to know about Krishna. The same thing happened with Suta also. When Suta asked, what do you want to know? They said, we want to know about Krishna. When they said, we want to know about Krishna, he started talking about all these things. And they said, why do we want all these things? Yes, we wanted Krishna's story, and just you can tell directly Krishna's story. And we are asking something and just you are telling something else. And then he said, no, it's not like that, my friend. If you want to appreciate a person, you appreciate him from his physical appearance, right? You recognize that person, oh, that fellow is, if you want to recognize him, go to so and so place first. This is the time when he is available there. And to recognize him, he will be fairy. And he will be just 5 plus 9. And he will be having this much of, size. Probably his eyes are like this, and his face is like this, and his hands are really long, and he have a handsome personality, more charismatic personality. This is physical appearance, and he is always wearing this type of clothes, so just you can easily recognize. And then whenever you go to him and just you wish him, immediately he smiles, and then he wishes you too, and again he starts speaking to you, really lovely voice, and again he questions this way. These are not just perceivable with our eyes. To perceive with our eyes, we need some description first. And after recognizing him and after approaching him, to talk to him, again we need certain qualities. If we go to him and if we wish him, will there be any reaction from him? Or just when we say hi, he'll be just turning his face and just keep going on like that? How he'll be? No, he won't be like that. Even without you wish him, first he wishes you. He says, hi, how are you? He wishes you first. Smita purva abhibhashi cha purvabhashi cha raghavaha. Narada says to Valmiki, hey Valmiki, this is Rama's wonderful quality. Smita purva abhibhashi cha. Smita purva abhibhashi. Whenever just you want to see Rama, you need not talk first. Rama talks first. Rama wishes us first. And before wishing, Smita purva, the smile comes first and then he wishes you. Just that's how we can go to him. We can talk to him freely, without any fear. Otherwise, if he's very... Though he may be a good person, but what's the use when he's like very tight and stiff? Then, we feel very bad even just to go and just to wish him. If we go there, then he may tell something. Why unnecessarily to go and unnecessarily create some trouble? Let us keep away from him. When he is like that, when he is very stiffy, then we never feel like approaching him. But if he is very jovial and just free, just laughing and talking freely, then we love to go to him, right? That's what Rama is. Smita purva abhibhashi cha purvabhashi cha raghavaha, he says. This is what you call the internal quality. And in Sanskrit, there are two names for these two types of qualities. Few qualities allow us to go to him, and few qualities give us ability, courage to talk to him. The name of the first quality is called Asrayana, Saukarya, Apadaka Gunas. Asrayana, to approach, Saukarya, Apadaka, they pave the way. And after approaching him, Asrita, Karya, Apadaka Gunas, we call them in Sanskrit. Asrita, who approached, for them, a few qualities are there which give confidence. Karya, Apadaka, definitely he takes care of us. He does our, he fulfills our necessities. These qualities are called Asrita, Karya, Apadaka Gunas. This is second. These two types of qualities he has. So, but first thing is his appearance. Look at it. And just first you see, oh, this is this. This is my Lord. Come on, let me go there. This is what in Bhagavata now we are discussing with. Before appreciating his inner qualities, we are trying to first perceive his universal form, how it is set, how it is wonderfully arranged. The whole thing around us arranged in a beautiful manner. We didn't arrange this, that much is sure. No one, not me, not you, not any king, nor any ruler, no one did all these things. And we are just coming and enjoying for some time.